All right, so this is an example of finding standard deviation by hand. So if you're given a chart. So here's some data. These are the hours that I worked. No, these are not accurate. I'm just making these up. But these are the hours that I work each week. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 14 weeks of work and the number of hours each week. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to find the mean of this data. The mean is shown by x bar, or sometimes it's shown by the letter mu, the Greek letter mu. So to find the mean, it's just like finding the average back in the day, and you basically just add up all the values, 32 plus 21 plus 28, 33, 40, 42, oh, yeah, that's right, 39, and then 40, 41, 31, 35, 20, 29, and 40. So I added them all up, I get 471, and then I divide by the number that there are, which were 14, right? So for 14 weeks. So I divide by 14 and I find the average amount per week is about 33.64. So that's equal to, we'll call it x bar, because I think most of the time in the book they call it x bar. So x bar is the mean. It's 33.64. Look up at your data to make sure that makes sense. Is this about an average? Yeah, it looks about right. I got some in the 40s, which is typically a full work week. And then I got some in the 20s, which is typically about a half work week. So you found your mean. That's great. Next thing you have to do is find the standard deviation. Finding the standard deviation by hand is a bit of a pain. If you look on your book in on page 228, at the top there, halfway down, they have this formula here. Standard deviation is equal to capital sigma, which means the sum of x, which is the values that are listed in your table, minus x bar, which doesn't change, it's always your mean, squared, divided by n, the number of data that there are, like 14. Okay. Like up here, how I have 471 divided by 14, I could rewrite that as sigma. So capital S sigma means the sum of all my x's divided by the number that there are. So that's another way to write the mean. That's what x bar is. X bar is sigma, capital S, which means the sum of all the values, divided by n, how many there are. So this time I have to do a little bit more work here. Well, I have the mean, which is good, and then I have all my values up there, which is good, and I also have the number of values that there are, so that I have all my pieces of information. It's not a matter of trying to solve this using algebra or something. What I have to do, though, is I have to do each one separately. So I have x. Let's do the first one. So I have 32. I'm going to subtract off my mean, which is 33.6. I'll round that to 33.6. And then I have to square it. Then I have the next one. I have 21 minus 33.6 squared. The next one is 28 minus 33.6 all squared. The next one is 33 minus 33.6 all squared. Next one is 40. I'm going to run the space here. 40 minus 33.6 all squared. Next I have 42 and 39. So actually I'll do them over here. So 42 minus 33.6 all squared. 39 minus 33.6 all squared. That's a point. Then I have 40. A lot of work by hand. 41. Oops. minus 33.6 all squared. And then I have 35 minus 33.6 all squared, 20, 29, oh, almost done, 40, there we go, wow. Let's just make sure I have them all there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 pieces of data, which I should have. Now do I have to do? Well, I got to figure out each one of these things, and then I have to add them all up. Add them all up. Then I divide by how many there are, and then finally with that number, I take the square root, and that will give me my standard deviation. So I don't need to go through all the arithmetic, but this is essentially what you have to do. Take each one of these things, figure out what the number is, because each one of them will just come out to a number. Once I add them all up, I'll get another number, say triangle. Then I take that triangle, which was the sum of all those things squared. I divide it by my value for n, and then I have to take the square root of the whole thing at the very end. So just make sure how to find standard deviation by hand. The formula is given to you on the page 228 there. And just make sure that you understand to find your mean first, subtract the values, your mean from your values, add them all up, divide by n, take the square root. So that's how you find standard deviation by hand when you're given a chart.